With that, I will call the committee to order, and as is custom with the whole committee and the subcommittees, I will read the mission statement of the Oversight Committee. We exist to secure two fundamental principles. First, Americans have a right to know that the money Washington takes from them is well spent. And second, Americans deserve an efficient, effective government that works for them. Our duty on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee is to protect those rights. Our solemn responsibility is to hold the government accountable to taxpayers, because taxpayers have a right to know what they get from their government. We will work tirelessly in partnership with citizen watchdogs to deliver the facts to the American people and bring genuine reform to the Federal bureaucracy. This is the mission of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. Today, we are here to discuss whether Federal employees are adequately compensated. I will begin with my opening statement and then defer to the Ranking Member Lynch for his. According to the Office of Personnel Management, the average salary for Federal employees was $74,311 in 2010. The average private sector worker earned $50,462, according to an August 10, 2010 analysis conducted by the Cato Institute. The Federal Government also pays an average of 36% of employees' base health insurance and pension benefits, in addition to generous paid leave. Taken together, Federal employees on average earned $101,628 in total compensation in 2010, nearly 4 times more than the average private sector worker. The members of this subcommittee recognize that our talented workforce performs critically essential functions and missions throughout the government on behalf of our nation. We appreciate their service. Federal employees should be compensated fairly, yet current Federal salaries and benefits are not in line with the marketplace when compared to the private workforce compensation. In a time when our economy is in a recession, the contrast between the government and private sector pay is troubling. The Federal Government has no incentive or obligation to reduce salaries in order to be competitive to stay in business. It can simply borrow more money or raise taxes. With Federal spending and unemployment at or near record highs, this hearing presents an opportunity for lawmakers of this committee to hear important testimony from our distinguished panelists on how best to address the growing pay disparity between the Federal civilian workforce and the private sector workforce. Over the past decade, compensation of private sector employees has not kept pace with that of Federal employees. Moreover, Federal workers receive generous benefits, vacation, health insurance, pension plans, retirement savings, and disability pay. These benefits greatly exceed those that are normally provided to the private sector workforce. Last November, President Obama announced a 2-year pay freeze for Federal employees. Unfortunately, the pay freeze did not impact salary increases driven primarily by the passage of time or bonuses, meaning President Obama's pay freeze wasn't really a freeze. Additionally, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Federal Government grew by 157,000 people from December 2008 to 2010, while private sector lost 8.8 million jobs. The unemployment rate hovers around 9%. The President's budget requests an additional 15,000 new Federal workers for the fiscal year 2012. Our taxpayers can no longer be asked to foot the bill for these Federal employees while watching their own salaries remain flat and their benefits erode. Congress has an obligation to consider all policy reforms that overhaul Federal compensation, reduce costs, and better align with the private sector. I thank the witnesses all for appearing today, and I look forward to your testimony.